Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Marie Margaret, and I'm so excited that you clicked on today's video because we are going to be doing baby names that I love but won't be using. A special guest appearance behind me. Ranger has joined for today's video. I loved watching these videos even prior to being pregnant. So now that I'm in my second trimester, I got a few requests over on TikTok and then IG DMs as well. So I thought, what better time to film than now? It's super gloomy outside and I had some free time. So we're gonna sit down and get right on into it. I had to kind of hold myself back because we do want at least 3 kids, obviously, if we are able to. I personally would love 4. I need to get Noah on board for that one, but that means I'm gonna have to keep some of these names for our future kids. So I had to be very selective about which ones I wanted to share with you guys today. Thankfully, my list is very lengthy. I have been keeping a list of future baby names since as long as I can remember in high school. I have a few on here that I'm gonna share today that me and Noah, like when we first started dating in high school and you're like talking about your future kids, we had baby names that we were like, oh, those are the names we're gonna use. And like flash forward almost 10 years later, we don't absolutely love those anymore. So I wanted to share those with y'all today just to like kind of see where we started and like where we're at now and like our name categories. Let me get it pulled up. We have 11 girl names and 11 boy names. If you guys are new to my channel or if you didn't know, I am 5 months pregnant with a baby girl on the way, due in August. We do already have her name picked out. I absolutely love it. We both fell in love with it when we heard it and it just feels so right. So we have no plans on changing it. Obviously, once she's born, if we feel like it doesn't fit, we absolutely will. But as of right now, I've already ordered, I think, 3 personalized baby items with their name on it. So let's hope it sticks. I haven't had any second guesses or doubts about it since we decided. So I think it's so perfect. It fits us so well and definitely isn't a common name. I don't want to say that I'm like the crunchy granola mom who's like going for the names like Lemon. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but we're not that out there in our name style, but we're also not the traditional route with like Luke, Rachel, those style of names. So we fall in like a healthy medium between the two. I think we should start off with the girl names since we're having a girl. Name number 1 for a baby girl is Margot. I absolutely love the name Margot. I used to watch this YouTuber, Margot. She's blonde. She was just like such a cool girl, like very down to earth, but also I feel like always down for an adventure. And it was just like all of the good qualities in one person that I really liked. And I don't know if that's what makes me like the name even more, but I think even by itself, it's such a beautiful name. I feel like it's a timeless name as well. Like Margot has been around for a really long time, so it's not really like out of the box, but I wouldn't say it's super common. It's definitely getting more popular these days, but I thought that was so cute for a little baby girl. Next up is the name that me and Noah actually had picked out back in high school. If we ever had a girl, we always said we would name her Charlie. I still think that is absolutely precious for a little girl, but I just don't think it like fits us as much these days. Obviously, if we would have had a child back then and named her Charlie, I would still love it. I do love the name, but I just feel like there's better options that I like even more. I also think there's a trend like when it comes to name styles. I really like gender neutral names or like boy names for girls. And then I also love surnames as first names, so like more of a last name style. I feel like there's a few on here that might stir the pot for some people. But the next name I have on here is Gemma, G-E-M-M-A, so Emma, but with the G at the beginning. I actually first heard this name back when we were visiting Noah's family in Australia. We met up with one of their family friends and the guy had a little girl named Gemma. She was so cute, a beautiful little Aussie girl, and she was just so spunky, so cute. It was the first time I had ever heard that name, and I haven't heard it since, at least like someone in person or someone on social media. So I think it's more of a unique style, and I know not everyone will love that, but I just thought it was so so cute. And it was a fun twist on a common name without being too out there, at least in my books. I just couldn't get Noah on board with that one, or else that probably would be a top contender. Okay, the next one is one of the gender neutral names. It's Devon. I don't really know how I would spell it. I think I would go D-E-V-O-N. Again, I followed someone on social media for a really long time. Her name was Devon, and she was just so cool, so beautiful, and I just loved everything about her. And I also just love boy names for girls, so I feel like this one was always high up on my list as well. Again, this was another one I could never really get Noah on board with, but I just thought it was so cute, and I feel like it's such a cool girl name. This next one, I'm so curious what you guys are going to think, so comment down below like what y'all are thinking so far of the names or the styles, if this is like what y'all were thinking that I was leaning towards, or if y'all are like so thrown off. But the next name is Suede. Now, I included this one because I love the name. Again, I think it's so cool, but a lot of these names, like I would just write down baby names before I was pregnant. If I like saw it somewhere, if I saw it on Pinterest or scrolling on social media, heard it in real life somewhere, I would just write them down so that I would always have them to reference once we finally did get pregnant. And like, I love it, but when you are deciding on your baby's name, you have to like take a step back and not just be like, oh, this is a cool name. You have to be like, this is what I am naming a human. This is going to be their name and like what they are known by for their entire life through all stages, not just while they're this tiny, adorable baby, but also while they're in high school, while they're looking for jobs, while they're a grandma one day. You know, it's like, not that having an out there name is going to affect a job search or anything, but you just kind of have to think about how that name is going to fit an individual person throughout all seasons of their life. So yeah, I feel like this was one of those names where I was like, I absolutely love it. I do think it's trendy, so I don't know how I would feel about it in a few years, but I also just thought it was like such a cool name, but I don't think we would name our baby this. Obviously, that's why it's included in this video. Okay, the next name is Hal, or I guess like Hallie, but I really love Hal. So I feel like Hal kind of leans towards like a more masculine vibe, but I just think it's so cute. It's short, it's sweet. It kind of already fits like a nickname vibe, which I really like, because I feel like a lot of the names that I lean towards don't really have nicknames. Obviously, you could always come up with something, but I feel like as I scroll through my baby names list, I know that's like something that a lot of people prioritize when they're picking a name. It's like they want them to have nickname variations that can come from it, and I feel like a lot of mine are kind of hard to do that. I don't know if that's like the length of the name or the style or what, but it's just something that I've noticed. Okay, next one. This is a name that Noah's dad really loves. He's like mentioned it to us multiple times, even like before we were pregnant when we just talked about baby names. But this next one is Andy. Again, this is kind of a gender neutral name because it could go either way, but I think Andy is so cute. I was really on board with this one for a while. There's really honestly nothing that I don't love about it. I just think the one that we found I love even more. So I think Andy is really cute. For a girl, I would spell it A-N-D-I-E, and yeah. I think, what's that rom-com movie? Is it 27 Dresses or First 50 Dates, or she wears like the iconic yellow silk dress. I'm pretty sure her name's Andy, and I love that movie, so I don't know if that sparked it as well, but I think Andy is so cute for a girl. Okay, this next name, I really had to go back and forth if I wanted to share, because this is a name I absolutely love. And then I realized early on when we announced our pregnancy, I did a few Q&As over on IG stories. So if you're not following me on Instagram, I'll have my Instagram right here. Definitely make sure you're following me, because that's where I'm like probably the most active day to day, Instagram and TikTok. YouTube here, I'm only posting once a week. But I did a Q&A on IG, and people asked me to share baby names that I loved but wasn't using. I shared 2 girl names, 2 boy names, and one of them was this. And I was like, wait, why the heck did I share that? Because this one was pretty high up on my list, but the name is Millie, M-I-L-L-I-E. I think Millie is so cute, and I think this piggybacks off of the fact that I really love the name Miller. I don't know if I had that. Yeah, that's actually a sneak peek of one of the boy names that I have. But if it was a boy, Miller, girl, Millie, I think that is so cute. But again, that's kind of one of those names where I'm like, would that fit a human being through all cycles of their life? I feel like Millie is so cute for a little girl, but I feel like when she's in her mom stage of life, like Miss Millie, I don't know, it still sounds cute in my mind, and I feel like a grandma named Millie is really cute as well. But it's kind of one of those names where I'm like, is it just trendy and I love it right now in this season of my life, and then in a few years years, I'll be like, what the heck was I thinking? Who knows? But as of right now, I absolutely love it, and it was really high up on my list, but it was another name that Noah just was not a fan of. The next name is Collins. I think this is so precious, but I will say this leans a little bit more like preppy in the name categories, at least in like our style. I feel like Collins is so cute for a little girl. I just see it being like a little bit more proper, and I feel like we're very like casual. Y'all know we live at the beach. Very chill, go with the flow people, so I feel like it didn't fit the vibe we were going for, but I absolutely love it. The next name is another gender neutral name, definitely leans more heavily towards guys, but it is Blake. I know for girls, people tend to do Blakely, but I just love Blake. I think Blake for a girl, again, it's just like cool girl. I know I keep saying that, but these names, I'm just like, I hear that and I'm like, I know you have good style. I know you have good vibes. I probably wanna know what your drink order is. You probably always have really cool nails. You know, it's just like, I feel like the names fit a certain like persona, and hearing a girl with the name Blake, I would just be like, yeah, I wanna be your friend. I need a water break, y'all. I'm literally out of breath. These chatty, more like talking style videos always get me. We only have one girl name left, and this one's probably going to be the most controversial in addition to Suede. So I like have like my top names I'll put little stars by, but then names where I'm like, this is a top contender, I will like write it fully out with like potential middle name, last name to like get the full flow. And this was on that top contender list for a very long time. And then once we were pregnant and fully deciding on a baby's name, I was like, I don't think I could do this, but I really do love it. And I've heard of other little girls with this name, and I think it's the cutest thing. But it is Goldie, G-O-L-D-I-E, Goldie. I think it's so cute, and the flow of this was going to be Goldie Mae Custer. I know Mae is like the most popular middle name for a girl right now. It is a family name. It's my mamer's middle name. So my mom's mom, she was Linda Mae, and I feel like me and my sister have both always kind of said that we want to use Mae as a middle name for our future little girls. And I am like a little bit sad, and it's not fully because it's just popular and I want to be different, but I don't think it flows with the name that we chose. Like I would rather save it for another baby girl in the future, or when my sister has a girl, if she has a little girl, she could use it. But I did really consider it, and we thought on it for a really long time because I was so set on using Mae as a middle name if we had a girl. But like I said, I just think the one that we chose flows a lot better with the first name that we chose. But yeah, that was the last girl name, Goldie. Let me know what you'll think. I know that one's probably like the most out there. People are gonna be like, are you okay like naming a child Goldie? But I think it's so cute. Obviously names are such a personal self-expression, so there's gonna be a lot of opinions, and yeah, not everyone's going to love the names that we love. That's the beauty of name giving. So let me know what y'all think about the baby girl names so far. But now we're gonna go ahead and hop into the boy names. Also, I just realized my pregnancy like birth ball is in the corner. I just ordered this from Amazon, pumped it up last night, and I did my first round of like stretches on it, and I absolutely loved it. I was getting such a good stretch. I might just be sore from Pilates the day before, but it felt really good. I was watching a few different like TikToks on like pelvic floor stretches with a pregnancy ball, and I'm gonna try and do it every single day, so I can link that down below. Getting on into the boy names. The first one is Beckham. Again, I feel like this kind of follows the same thought process as Collins for a girl. Beckham and Collins just sound very like preppy in the name style category. Like, love the names, but I just don't think it fits our vibe. But I think Beckham is so cute, and you could call him Beck. That is one of the few names where there was like an easy nickname. I feel like some of the other ones were kind of hard, but Beckham, Beck, I think either variation of that is so cute for a little boy. Okay, the next name is the name that me and Noah were so set on back in high school, and we were like, if we ever have a boy in the future, this will be his name, and it is Grayson. I still think that is so cute and so precious, but like I said, for the girl version, it's just like, we loved it at the time, but like we've grown so much and changed changed in so many ways, and now there's just like so many new names at our disposal that we love even more. So it's kind of fallen down on the list. I don't think we'll ever end up using it. Obviously that's why I'm sharing it here, but I think it's so cute. If you're looking for a boy name and you like the sound of Grayson, definitely use it. Grayson, Gray, either of those is so cute. Also, I feel like I need like a cute counter, because I know I've said it a billion times, but how else are you supposed to describe baby names, you know? This next name I wanted to include. If Noah was solely naming our child and it was a boy, this is what he would call him. I have never been able to get on board. The name is Slater. I think it's cool. It's falling into that category of cool names like we had for the girls, but I almost think it's too cool, like too edgy. It kind of is giving like skater vibes, like skater boy, grungy. When I hear Slater, that's just kind of where I go. I feel like I need more of that like chill vibe going on, and Slater's a little too much, like too aggressive for me, if that makes sense. I still think it's really cool. Like you could call him Slate, Slater, either of those. But that is a name Noah absolutely loves. This next name is Porter. I kind of think this ties into Beckham and Collins, like definitely leaning a little bit more proper. But I still think it's absolutely adorable. A little boy named Porter, you could call him Port. I feel like it's also a very coastal name. Like I could see a Porter living in like Charleston, you know? That's kind of the vibe that it's giving. This next name kind of ties into the girl name Hal, but this one's Mace. Like usually people would say Hallie and nickname Hal, and then for this people would usually say Mason and nickname Mace, but I like just the shortened version of those two. So it would be M-A-S-E, Mace. I just love that. I don't really hear it that often. I know one person with that name, he's older. I don't know, I just really like it. I kind of like how short it is, and I'm trying to figure out how else to describe a baby name, but I guess that's kind of it. I just like it. M-A-S-E, I think it's short, sweet, very cute, and I could easily see a little boy with that name. This next one is Miller. I know I already touched on it when we went to the girls and we had Millie, but I think Miller is so cute for a boy. I feel like this is a similar vibe as Porter, like Porter and Miller. I feel like I could see either of those living in Charleston, somewhere southern. I mean, we're from Louisiana, we live in Florida, so we are in the South technically still, but I just thought Miller was really, really cute. I know a few people with the last name Miller, so this also fits into like that surname category. I actually really like that one. I just don't think it flowed either with our last name, like Miller Custer. I don't know, I don't think I like the double ER endings. This next one is probably my most out there boy name that I included in this list. So I'm curious to know what you guys think, but it is Bear. This is one of those names where I just kind of heard it or saw it somewhere and thought it was really cool, so I wrote it down as a reference for later on, and then when it came time to like actually decide on our little human's name, I was like, I don't know if I could see that fitting in all of the seasons of life. I also think it kind of is a little bit more trendy, so I don't know how I would feel about it later on, and I know we would definitely get some comments from like family and friends being like, are you sure? Or like just some questionable faces when they first heard it. So it's definitely probably one of the most out there boy names that we have on our list, but I still think it was really cool. Bear. I have a few others on my list that I did not share because they're kind of newer additions and I want to sit on them and think before I decide if I'm like, okay, yeah, that's really a potential. Obviously we're not having a boy right now, but there's always for the future. And so there's a few more that kind of fit this style that I have on my list. The next name is Sterling. I think this is so cute. I've heard this used as a girl name as well. So this is kind of one of those gender neutral names, but I just thought it was really cool. I don't really know what you would use as a nickname for this. I feel like it's kind of a harder one to come up with nicknames for, but I just thought this was really cute. I feel like it's like a strong name without being like too like aggressive like Slater was. I feel like it's also a name that's not super common, but it's also not like crazy out there. So I like that it kind of falls in between both of those styles as well. The next name is Brooks. I think this is absolutely adorable. If we were having a boy, this would probably be pretty high up there on my list. I know it is way more popular now than it used to be a few years ago. Hopefully the lighting didn't change too much. I feel like it looks darker, but my battery was dying, so I had to swap it out. But I think we were on the name Brooks. I was saying I think it's so cute. I think it's definitely become more popular, and that's probably the only reason it's like turning me away from using it. I feel like I knew of one person with this name in high school. That was a guy, and at the time it was like pretty unique or just not as common. But now I feel like every other day I see baby announcements, and if it's a boy, their name is Brooks, which obviously there's no problem with it. Like, that's a good thing that so many people like it. That's why it's popular. I mean, I love it. I think it's so cute, but I just don't think we would use it anymore. The next name is Rowan. I think this is so cute. I would honestly, see, it's hard because you have to think about how it flows with your last name. Like, I feel like Rowan Custer doesn't really flow well, but I love the name on its own. I think it's so cute, R-O-W-A-N. Again, it's not super common, but it's also not like a crazy out there name. And then the last name is Wesley, and you could nickname Wes. If you follow Emily Kaiser, I'm pretty sure that's the name of her dog. So it could lean towards like a dog name, which I don't really love the idea of. I know there's some names like, there was another name on my list and I was like, I feel like that is a common dog name, so I kind of have to like think about that as well. Even though I know of one person whose dog is named that, I don't think that's enough to like make me totally disregard it. I still think it would be really cute for a little boy, but again, I just don't really think it fits like our vibe or style of naming, at least with like our lifestyle and last name and all of that, but I still think it's so adorable. I think that was all of them from the list. 11 girls, 11 boys. Let me know what you guys think. I'm so curious if y'all are like vibing with the names that I've shared, or if y'all are like surprised and thought I was gonna go a different way. I know there was a few that were kind of out there, so I'm also curious to hear what you guys think about those. That was all of the names that I'm going to share for today. Let me know if you guys want to see a part 2. I feel like I would definitely have to do some searching, because to pull these, I really had to be like, okay, am I 100% not using these in the future? I obviously still have way more on my list, but I feel like I'm a very indecisive person. Obviously not with the name that we chose for our baby girl, like that is like done and decided. But going forward, I feel like you don't really know what you want to name your baby until you are pregnant and you are like in that season of naming that child. Because the name that we chose, I feel like I always really liked it, but it wasn't until I was pregnant that I was like, oh, this is the name. Me and Noah both heard it and we're both like, yes, we absolutely love it. So I feel like it all comes down to like the timing and when you're actually pregnant, and it comes down to naming the baby. So I'll have to get creative and really figure out which names I would want to share in a part 2. But if you guys want to see a second half, definitely let me know and I would love to share more. Like I said, if you're not following me on Instagram and TikTok, make sure to do so, because that's where I'm the most active. I've been sharing probably like 95% pregnancy related content over on TikTok, and it's just so fun. I know not everyone who follows me is pregnant or in their mom era, but I have just been waiting on this season of life for so long, and I've just always wanted to tap into it. So I'm really leaning into it. Obviously that's not going to be the center of my content forever. I still love posting fashion or travels, beach content, all of that. So that will still always be a main core pillar of that channel. But right now, obviously, like this pregnancy is the biggest thing going on in our lives. And so life goes in seasons, and that's just the season that we're currently in. So I'm really leaning into it over on there. So if you're also expecting, if you're already a mom, if you are trying to conceive, definitely go ahead and make sure you follow me on TikTok, because I feel like we have a really fun mom community growing over there, and it makes me so happy. That's pretty much it for today. If you guys have any other pregnancy related video requests or just video ideas in general, leave them down in the comments. I'm always open to hearing what you guys want to see. If you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and make sure to subscribe if you're not already. And I'll see you guys in the next one.